Ayo, it's Mayo. You know when you're depressed and every thought you have is political, but no one wants to hear you talking about politics? Yeah. So instead of that, mug cake. You might notice the sign of mug. That's because this is depression mug cake. You know what you need to have when you're having normal mug cake? A mug. What do you gotta do with a mug? Wash it. You know what you can do with this? Trash. Unless you're a great person who composts it. Good for you. Another thing about regular mug cakes, measuring spoons. You don't need to wash this. Maybe I'm not a great person, but I put it in the trash because I have depression. So, we're going to be using Gemma's Bigger Bolder Baking's Perfect Vanilla Mud Cake. Probably not the right title. This is all I have for notes. So, we're changing the recipe because instead of using measuring spoons, we're using a spoon, and instead of using a mug, we're using something you can throw away. Alright, so let's get to this. Alright, Mama, go long. Flour. I am not gluten intolerant. If you are gluten intolerant, feel free to use gluten-free flour. For this recipe, it works super duper well. Alright, so, baking. When you're a real big professional, you learn measuring by volume or by weight. Lame. You measure by ratios. Technically that means you measure it anyway, but ratios. So, if I use this recipe the same way every time, but I use different spoons, I get different amounts of cake, but I still get basically the same cake, you know what I mean? So first, we're going to start out with 8 spoons of flour. The recipe says 4 tablespoons. This is kind of half a tablespoon. So because this is the first ingredient, and your spoon's all nice and clean, you can make it like this. But you know, who is going to be hurt if you have heaping spoons of flour in your mud cake? And if anyone thought that I'm off track, I probably am. If I got it wrong, depression. Catch! How did that happen? Sugar. You know what makes you feel good as a human being in general? Sugar. Do you want to use a lot? Do you want to use a little? This recipe says to go for 4 spoons. But who cares? If you want a biscuit, don't put any sugar. It's not as good. Now, I can't contaminate the sugar with flour because we have gluten-free people in this household. So guess what? You saw that technique? Pour it into the spoon. Go on. What kind of mixed up world am I in right now? Alright, so you can't use a tablespoon nor a half tablespoon to measure baking powder, especially because it's contaminated. So, you know what we can do? Not spill it on the counter, but we can also just take a little bit of this butt right here. How much is half a teaspoon? I don't care. That should be enough. Serious baking note. This here is what gives it bubbles to make it light and fluffy. So it's important. If you put too much, it gets gross and bitter and salty. If you put too little, it does nothing. But you know what? This is one cake that will take you about 3 minutes to eat. Who really cares? Milk. This is milk. Almond milk. Cruelty-free and delicious. So, how many spoons of milk do we need? 8. But first, let's mix them. The dry ingredients. Is it important? No. So let's get this milk. Okay, that was 8 spoons. Now I'm going to keep this baby right here for now because I might need to add more milk. Alrighty. Now I need the oil. Good arm, Mama. Alright. Now, I'll get a second camera eventually. Let's mix it in here because I have found out that mixing liquids, you know, with oil sometimes it's a little difficult. So we just scrounge, try to get the dry bits off. And then, we need 3 spoons of oil. So we're just going to take this. Any oil will work. But what kind of depressed person has anything except for canola? Seriously. Coconut oil is so expensive. Who am I trying to impress? Three. Now again. So, you shouldn't actually mix the ingredients this much because over mixing is how you get a tough cake. But I only got one more thing to mix in. Go on! Did that get there? Extract. As you may or may not see, this is magic. Cake batter extract. Not even, well, labor. Not even kidding. This will turn anything into a happy birthday. And don't we all need that right now? So, the recipe calls for 1/4 teaspoon. Here's the thing about this. This is not vanilla extract, which the recipe calls for. This is, I might need to edit that out. Oh, sorry. I have no idea how sensitive the microphone is.
I'm sorry.
Where was I?
You said, don't we all need that? And you said, for his birthday, and then you said,
Okay, oh yeah, I remember. The recipe calls for 1/4 teaspoon. You know what I'm saying. Might need to edit out though. The vape sounds in the background.
Guess we'll set it down.
I'm so sorry. I didn't say nothing. Maybe should have said something. And I'm sorry I'm acting like I'm on camera when I'm on camera. Can we keep that in?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay, back to this. This, you need a lot more to get the same effect as you would out of vanilla extract, because vanilla extract is strong. Wilton. It smells just like Wilton. So, don't even use a spoon or anything. Just say, hey, that's way too much if you're using vanilla. Maybe not even enough if you're using the delicious cake batter flavoring. And now, what do we do with this beautiful orange batter from that delicious cake flavor? I was going to make it like,
Yeah, there you go, so they can see the color.
okay, it's showing the color, but it just looks nasty. Because this is a depression mud cake, there's no telling what consistency yours is going to be. And like I said, the recipe literally says don't overbeat it. But guess what? I like stirring things. It makes me feel better about life. Now, final step. Unless you count eating a step. Microwave for 45 seconds, checking if it's done. If it isn't, another 45 seconds. Guess what? That's effort. Just put it in for 60 seconds. Put it in for 1 minute and 30 if you make twice as much. Life. Do you want to never eat raw flour?
How long?
1 minute. Let's,
It smells good.
you want to kind of hold it and, well, and this is about what you got. Your family would probably really get on to you for, using a measuring spoon to eat your food. But guess what? Even though it measured, you can use it to eat food. It's pancakey and rubbery. But did it take much time? You expect the food YouTubers to say, oh, look how yummy, look how delicious. This is a desperation cake. If you want a good cake, you make a good cake. You can make a good cake in the microwave, but this is depression mud cake. Alright guys, I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends to watch. Bye! You can shut it off.
Is it good?
The video or the cut?
The cake.
It's desperation cake.
But is it good?
Hmm.
Do you want to make another one?
No.